Today I'm going to show you my very first wig. Here she is. This is Jon Renau Karlie in the color 8RH14, and this is the first wig that I purchased in 2017. Now this is not the exact same wig. That wig wore out a long time ago. I wore that wig till it wasn't wearable anymore, but I am showing you her again. Wigs.com sent me this so that I could do some content, and I was just excited to be able to revisit and show you all the very first wig that I ever purchased, and she still does not disappoint. So real quick, I just want to let you know that I do have a link in the description box for Karlie that includes a 30% discount. I do earn commission when you shop that link, so I really appreciate you shopping that link, but it will give you an automatic 30% discount when you shop through that link. So Karlie is such a pretty, timeless style. Beautiful bob. Some places she curls under, some places she flips up. These are not heat-friendly fibers, but you could use some low heat, to train those a little bit if you wanted to. I like that. I chose this wig years ago because it looked like the way I was wearing my hair when my hair was good before it really started to fall out intensely. So it reminded me of the straight bob styles that I love. My bio hair is naturally just straight as a board. And I loved, every time I would get it cut and think it was going to curl under, it would always flip up in places. So when I tried Karlie on years ago at a wig shop, I was like, that's my hair, and I had taken pictures of my hair, and the lady that was helping me, she was like, I think that's your hair, and that at that time, that's what I wanted to do. I was brand new to wigs. I just wanted to find a wig that looked like my hair, honestly, so that nobody would know I was wearing a wig until I was ready for them to know that I was wearing a wig. Although a lot of my friends already knew because they had already supported me through the loss of my hair. But just the general public, going to the grocery store, going to the bank, doing all the errands, whatever, I just wanted to look like myself again. So that is why I chose Karlie, and I'm very happy that I did choose her. I can't really say enough about this wig. There's I don't want to cry, but there's deep emotions that are attached to this wig for me because I walked into a wig shop in a baseball hat with just this sparse hair on my head, and I walked out with this on my head, and I felt so much better. And so I want to share with you guys kind of what the changes that I see in it from 2017 versus now. I definitely think, sorry, look, I got a little teary. I definitely think that they have improved it. I know that one problem I had with Karlie back then was that the cap was really big on me. So I actually had to go back to the wig shop, and she adjusted the cap for me, inside the cap, sewed it and stuff, and made it so that it would actually fit. At that time, it would go down over my ears, and that is definitely not the case. So let's talk about the fit while we're on the subject. So ear to ear, this is fitting me great. This is a fully hand-tied cap, but there's lots of stretch in it. So, it definitely feels like it fits a lot better now versus back then. It's definitely, I don't need to have the cap adjusted. I did bring the adjusters in just slightly, but I didn't have to bring them in that much. So, and we'll kind of look at the stretch and stuff when I take it off and show you the cap. So she has a lace front, goes from the top of the ear tabs to the top of the ear tabs. And then she has a full mono top, so you can choose wherever you want to part. And this was one of the reasons why, the lady at the wig shop was kind of explaining, this is going to feel more natural. It's going to be soft. At the time, I had a lot of discomfort in my scalp because I was in the process of losing my hair and in just a real inflammatory rage with my autoimmune alopecia areata. So I needed something soft on my scalp. So this is really a great cap for those of you who may be completely bald. Maybe you're going through chemotherapy and your scalp is very sensitive. Anybody that has a sensitive scalp, I feel like this hand-tied cap is really comfortable, but it's also great for those of us who don't, so still a very comfortable cap. Okay, eyes are dried. So I will go ahead and give you the measurements. One thing I do want to mention is that, this is one of those styles that has been around for a really long time. And in this world of wig back orders, This is a good style to keep in mind because this is a very timeless style. And I think sometimes in the wig world, we want to jump on the bandwagon of all the new styles, you know, and I know I'm certainly always excited to show you those new styles, you know, but don't forget some of these timeless old classics because they are still amazing wigs, which is why I wanted to go ahead and do a full review on this one so that I would bring it, you know, to your attention. Because not only was it my first wig, it's still completely, perfectly, classically in style. So for those, you know, if you're looking for a style and you're struggling with back orders, don't forget to go back and look at some of these timeless styles, particularly Jon Renau. I feel like they usually do a pretty good job of having things in stock. You know, there's some back order things that we can't, you know, they can't do anything about. They can't necessarily always predict supply and demand, you know, but you know, if some styles are back ordered, don't forget to go back and look at these old classics that you may have missed. So, okay, so and another thing, of course, this is regular synthetic. So maybe you're not into heat friendly, you want regular synthetic. We're not seeing as much regular synthetic fiber with the new styles. So again, you know, something to consider with this style. Okay, so measurements for Karlie. 12.25 inches here in the front, 13.5 inches from the crown, 9.25 inch sides with a 6-inch nape and a weight of 3.6 ounces. So very, very lightweight. I'll show you that part. Looks really nice. And of course, as I mentioned, you can change your part and part it wherever you would like. So here's that full mono top that's going to allow you to part it wherever you'd like. The smart lace front. Looks very nice. Soft ear tabs with metal stays, hand-tied cap, lots of stretch in this middle part in particular where you see this additional fabric that gives the cap some stretch. So no extended nape, but it only has a 6-inch nape, so doesn't really bother me. Velcro adjusters, and like I said, I did bring those in just slightly, but just a tad. I didn't have to bring them in very far, so really nice cap construction. Regular synthetic fiber. Talk about this gorgeous color. This is the 8RH14 Mousse Cake. I think it used to be called something else. Can't remember what that was now, but anyway, new name of it is Mousse Cake. And this is the beautiful brunette that I chose back in the day when I started wearing wigs as well. So this is just a complete redo of my favorite wig, color, style, everything. So 8RH14 is my absolute favorite, like I said, from Jon Renau. I love the fact that it is just a very natural looking brunette and it doesn't have any red in it. Not that I don't like brunettes with red in them, but I remember particularly back in 2017, we didn't have nearly as many colors to choose from. And this, I chose this one because it was just slightly cooler tone, neutral to just a little, I wouldn't say it's completely cool toned. It's really pretty neutral, but definitely it's not super warm, you know, with the red, with having an auburn highlight in it. And auburn highlights, even though when I was a kid, my natural hair would get auburn highlights in it, as an adult, it wasn't so much doing that anymore. So, and I think with a little bit of gray and white starting to come in to my bio hair, you know, just this more natural medium, you know, blonde highlight going through it. This was sort of what I was having my hairdresser do. You know, she would color it and then put in some highlights. And this just really, really reminded me of my natural color. So more of a neutral brunette versus a super warm brunette. So the description for 8RH14 Mousse Cake is a medium brown with 33% medium natural blonde highlights. So the highlight is just very subtle. I just think that that makes it a beautiful brunette. It just gives it a little bit of highlight without being super streaky or anything like that. They're very, very nicely done, tiny. Like they said, they're only in 33% of the wig. So that tells you it's not a real chunky, you know, thick highlight. The lace front looks really, really good. Knots look really tiny. Not rooted, but not, you know, a root isn't really needed on this color. So really, really pretty. The 8RH14 in the light coming through my patio door. You can see those beautiful highlights, but I just love how subtle they are. And then here's the lace. Looks really nice. I don't know if I showed y'all the ear tabs, but great coverage at the ear tabs as well. Remember when I picked this wig out years ago? The first time I wore it, when my friends saw me, they were like, that's your hair. That looks just like your hair. And you know, that's just what we want to hear when we first start wearing wigs, I think, unless you're more adventurous. I just wanted to, you know, look natural and look like myself. So, okay, so here's the color under my patio cover. We'll step out into the sun. It's kind of partly sunny. I guess there's enough light to see it. It's very easy to tuck behind the ears, as you can see. Very, very natural density. So this is something, you know, I wore her a lot. And this was another thing that I liked about the style, was that I used to tuck my hair behind the ears all the time. And I liked the fact that I was able, you know, to tuck her behind the ears. So, but glasses work out great. Sunglasses, whatever, go up on your head very naturally. Now, I always tuck the hair first, just so I don't push my wig back, and just to make sure that, you know, it just goes up very smoothly, you know, when I put it up like that. But so she looks cute with a headband, and I'll show you in a minute how I always wore her when I first got her, because she does have a bit of a face flopping issue. So a 12.25-inch layer in the front on a bob is definitely going to flop in your face some. You know, you can eliminate that by doing, you know, more of a middle part, or you can use product, but a headband is also a great way to keep it back out of your face. I didn't wear a headband back then. What I was doing was just the good old clip off the face, and I will insert a picture so you can see me in my original Carlie there. It's not the best picture, but you know, that was back when I wasn't taking a lot of selfies. I wasn't feeling real great about myself, and I wasn't completely confident in my wig yet. So, you know, wasn't taking the selfies. That was just a picture of me and actually a friend when we were at dinner one night. So, but this is how I wore all the time, and that helped with the face flop issue. It was also fun to be able to style my hair again. I enjoyed the fact that I could put a clip in my hair and pull my hair back, and the lace front looked amazing, just like it does now. I mean, it looks even better now than it did in 2017. You know, they've come a long way with the lace fronts, of course, but this is how I wore it just all the time. So that's kind of fun to revisit as well. That was always my look, it seemed like. And then once I got the hair trained, you know, I was afraid to do anything to it. Back then, I did not put like heat on it or anything. I did put it, I think, on a mannequin head pulled back, and that helped to train it. You know, I got it wet, pulled it back with that clip and put it on a mannequin head. But you can wear it half up, half down, and I wore it like that back then too. And I think we can get a little teeny ponytail. I don't remember ever putting it in a ponytail back then, and it does not have an extended nape, so you want to make sure that your nape is in place, you know, if you put it up in a little tail. But yeah, you get a little pony, cute. You might have to clip, you know, I think that 12.5-inch layer would stay back, but you might want to clip right behind the ears with a bobby pin just to make sure. So, but really, really cute, really versatile, beautiful, beautiful wig. And it's been fun walking down memory lane and revisiting her. So, as I said, I will put a link in the description box where you can get a 30% discount on Carlie through wigs.com. And I do earn commission through that link, so I really appreciate you shopping that link. I thank you so much for watching. Thanks for walking down memory lane with me with Carlie by Jon Renau in 8RH14. And take care of yourselves, and don't forget, you're absolutely beautiful. Bye-bye.